Yeah, what'd you just see in the third quarter when they really, create a lot of that separation?
Kind of goes back to what I kind of say over the past few press conferences. They upped their intensity and we didn't match it. And when we started to match it, the game was kind of out of hand at that point. But it just shows what type of team they are. A great team.
Yeah, I mean, what do you just think about how the pieces fit 1 through 5 in their starting lineup? I mean, arguably just the best.
They can switch 1 through 5, especially when they have a starting unit out there. They can switch 1 through 5. They don't really have like a pigeon you can really pick on. And if they do, you have to watch film and see where it's at. But they're all like size and they can switch.
And Willie talked about kind of answering that in the fourth quarter by just playing no center, kind of playing you at the 5 for most of the time. With those units, what are you kind of seeing out there, and how different it is when it's you and pretty much 4 perimeter players?
It allows us to play faster. But it also allows us to kind of switch 1 through 5 and not really have someone to pick on. But a small ball unit, it works for us. But the third quarter, when they upped their intensity, we should have matched it, but we didn't.
And kind of getting a chance to measure yourself up against, the team with by far the best record in the league. What do you kind of see some of the things that makes them who they are that y'all kind of want to get to at some point?
Their consistency on a nightly basis. The things that they mess up with, they don't mess up twice. And you can see it in their record. They know when to pick up their intensity. They know when they're playing sloppy, and they make adjustments quick, and that's what makes them great.
You got off to a fast start on the offensive end, and then, like you said, they kind of turned things up defensively. What were they doing to kind of make it tough for you on the offensive end?
You could just see it where we were starting our offense from. We were starting our offense near half court versus starting it close to the three-point line. So just them making that small adjustment by applying pressure higher up, it changes the offense for anybody you play against. So then, we're not really getting the shots we want. We're just kind of forcing up shots.
Their coach talks about the law of averages when it comes to just leaving guys open from 3. I know every team kind of does that to an extent, but it seems like the Celtics really, really hone in on a couple key players, and they're just going to live and die by, if they're hitting shots. Just what do you make of that kind of defensive strategy and just sticking to that aggressive of a game plan, just no matter, even if a guy's hitting?
I think that's just the mindset of if they lose like that, they'll be able to sleep at night. But if they don't lose like that, then they look at film like, nah, that wasn't okay. So, if that works for them, their record shows it. But, I think that's the route they go. It works for them, so it yields results. Got to give them that respect.
Zion, you mentioned the not matching their intensity. Are you surprised by that, considering kind of like what's at stake with this opponent season?
Yeah. Coach has talked to us about when we start the third quarter and starting it faster with more momentum, and we started slow, and they didn't. But it's not even just about intensity, it's just making basketball reads. We became stagnant, and they didn't.
So you talked about where you're starting the offense from, but a couple of times in the game, Boston went big, where you saw Horford, Porzingis together, then Tillman was out there with one of the other bigs. Did that present any kind of more challenges to you personally, or to you guys running that offense? Did you feel that?
I wouldn't say so. I would just more so say just that third quarter for us. That kind of was the game for us. We didn't come ready to play in the third quarter.
Did the end of the second quarter at all kind of affect what happened in the third quarter? You guys were, I think, leading 55-51. You stepped up free throw line, and before you knew it, they're walking in with a lead in the halftime.
That's basketball. It's a game of runs, and that's halftime. It was, 1-2 point game? So there's nothing to go into halftime worried about. It's when you start that third quarter, and we started slow, and they didn't, and they were able to get like a 10, 13-point lead. You guys have a great night.